in those two worlds. What about that? What's your hunch? I mean, Mary seems to think that. She knows all the physics, but she says, I have no idea what's going on in people's mental lives. If the physics really uniquely pins down what the mental life is, then why can't Mary figure out what the mental life must be? Yep. She can't what? She can't practice. Yeah, right. But my question is, why does she need to do that? Because after all, if her physical information pins down uniquely what psychological states there are going to be, why can't she know that? I mean, why can't she just read it off? Yep. I just mean knowing what the color experiences are. Whatever she learns when she steps out of her room, that's what I mean by knowledge. Yeah, she learns something about what's been going on in people's heads all this time. Yeah. Yeah, let me just leave you with that question. I partly mean to be rounding up on what we've done so far, but also raising things. And this actually connects to Antonia's question. If that's right, that Mary's information leaves open what's going to be happening with the qualia, you could have two different possible worlds in which all the physical properties are the same, but all the qualia are different. Right? Did someone say no? Every physical what? Everything physical is the same, let's suppose, yeah. Yeah, but that's fair enough. But what I mean is, suppose Mary knows all about your physics. Suppose that from her black and white room, Mary has actually kept tabs on individual people. She doesn't get the information in color, but she just scans them, let's suppose. She just scans you. She knows exactly, cell by cell, all about your physical composition. But she says, what the experiences are that you're having when you look at a rose, I don't know. My physical information leaves it wide open what experiences you might be having when you look at a rose. That's right. Yeah, that's right. If everything physical was the same with her as the people outside, then I agree, likely she'd be able to see the same colors. Yeah. I'm actually talking, though, about Mary's knowledge, whether her physical knowledge pins down what the color experiences are of the people that she's thinking about, not her own color experiences. Okay, we can talk about this more. But suppose you could have that. Suppose physicalism is false. So, yeah? Yeah, carry on. Yes. That's my next point. Right, you're ahead of me. Yeah? Yeah. Can you do that louder? Sorry. It, it seems different to variable realizability. Variable realizability says you could keep the qualia the same, yeah, but different physics. You get PZ here and you get PX here, yeah. But what we're talking about is whether, given that the physical is fixed, you could have different kinds of qualia coming off. Yep. So they seem to be running in different directions, these two questions about variable realizability and about physicalism. Yeah. Physicalism has to do with whether the level down here fixes what's going on up here. Variable realizability has to do with whether what's going on up here fixes what's going on down there. Does that make sense? Yeah. But that last question, I mean the question before, that really seems to me key. We've been contrasting the whole time imaginative understanding and scientific or causal explanation. So suppose that imaginative understanding just gets you onto the qualia, but that the qualia, that the physics could be the same, but the qualia quite different. Then if you could have two possible worlds with everything physical just the same and the qualia quite different, well, all the causal processes in those two worlds would be exactly the same. Everything would roll on. If you took all the qualia of the people in this room and swapped them all around, but left the physics just the same, then everybody would be moving and acting exactly as they had been before. Because if the physics is the same, everything causal is the same. So the qualia would have to be just a kind of decoration on the universe, just a kind of ornamental water spout that nature has put on us. Why? We have no idea. Your conscious life couldn't be making any difference to what happens. Yep. That's right. Well, that's a very peaceable response, right? You didn't just grab your baseball bat, but okay. Very good. Yeah. Oh, you think you think that psychological difference would be making a difference to what you do? Yeah. Whether you feel anger or just that desire to tidy up. Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, but the point is, if it's possible to have the physics the same, but the qualia different, and that's kind of what your example is suggesting, right? You might be cleaning up here, and you'd be swamped with anger, or you might be cleaning up with just a general fussy kind of attitude. The point is, it just doesn't matter in this picture what the qualia are. Your qualia could be anything. Your conscious life could be anything. Your conscious life makes no difference to what is going on. When you think about Nagel and the bat, when you know about the bat's physics, when you study the bat scientifically, you understand everything there is to understand about what's going to make the bat behave the way it does. Yeah? So if you're missing something when you can't imagine the bat's mental life, the bat's mental life can't be making any difference to what it does. Because you were already able to predict exactly what the bat's going to do from your knowledge of it physically. So imaginative understanding can't be telling us about the causes of things. We like to think that when you're reflecting consciously, what you consciously decide to do, will I go get a coffee? Will I go see Bill? Will I go see Sally? You think your conscious life makes a difference to what happens next? That seems so important. But if physicalism is true, physicalism is not true, if you go to the same physics, the different qualia, then the qualia can't be making any difference to what happens. The qualia can't be causing things to happen. You think you're in charge, but you are not. What happens is that your body drives around, motored by its physical structure, governed by the physical laws. Your conscious life is rolling along kind of in the rear, observing what happens and saying, hey, I did that. I wanted that to happen. I'm going to make this happen. But it's not actually connected to anything. And on that bombshell, we'll pack up for today. Okay, thanks, guys.